Hi everyone, I'm Nairy McMahon from CRR UK, the ORSC organization relationship systems coach training provider here in the UK. Today I'm here with Alain Pottier. Hello Alain.
Hi everyone.
Hi Alain, hi, nice to see you. He's a team coach based in Lyon, I guess you can tell. Alain is going to talk a little bit about the new card game he designed, inspired by an ORSC tool called Designing the Team Alliance. For those of you who are not familiar with the Design Team Alliance, or what we call the DTA tool, it helps teams or any relationships, you can use this in the personal as well, to create conscious and intentional relationships on how we're going to be together whilst we are working, and I guess for personal relationships while we are living together. So Alain, would you like to do a quick introduction?
So I'm French, obviously. You can tell by my accent. I live in France and I'm a professional coach. I work mainly with corporate teams, but I also coach executives and managers.
So tell us about what's in the box, the DTA game, and what's in the box.
The box, it's obviously a very nice box. And
I have one too.
Yeah, and inside the box you have different types of cards because it's mainly a card game. Basically, you have 70 intention cards with the purple icon. You have 13 questions, exploration cards with a green question mark. And you have 4 other questions, which is basically the responsibility, the co-responsibility part of the DTA. So you have a choice between 4 cards to go deeper in the DTA with the teams.
So that's what's in the box. And I also noticed
that you also have a booklet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I was just going to say. Yeah.
You have a booklet because if you're familiar with the DTA tool, well, it's pretty easy to use. But if you're not that familiar with the tool, or if you haven't used it for a while, well, you've got everything in the booklet to get familiar with and how to use the cards.
So how do you play the game?
Well, basically, you take out the intention cards. You can put them on the table and you start asking questions to the team you're working with or the relationship you're working with. You can take one of the questions I mentioned before, so the question marks with the green circle, and basically you choose whatever you want. For example, what do you need to work together?
Sorry, so you've got how many did you say of these you had? How many of these cards?
You have 70 intention cards.
Okay, so you have them all laid out, and then...
You have them all laid out, and you ask a question to the team you're working with. It's an exploration question for them, and they will pick the cards, the intention cards they need to answer that question. Okay. That's the simplest way to use the cards. You can pretty much do your own version of the DTA with the cards. You can ask one question or more. And you can ask the team to pick, I don't know, maybe 10 cards or 15 cards or less, depending on the size of the team.
Okay, great. And so then the intention is for them to hold it and to take some ownership about what those intentions are and how they're going to be bringing that alive in the team. Okay.
Absolutely. And that's why you have also the responsibility cards. We know that with the DTA, you need co-responsibility from everyone to own that alliance so that they can make it work. So you ask a responsibility card what they really want to support.
Great. What made you want to run the ORSC DTA tool in particular as a card game?
It's a tool I use pretty much every day with pretty much all my clients. At some point, I revisit the DTA because that's part of the process. And during my certification period, it was in 2017, I had a lot of clients, different clients. And from time to time, I had difficulties to get them started on the alliance. I wasn't using the cards at that time because the game wasn't even in my thought process, but I was using the normal way. If if you can say that, the normal process. And I was asking the same. I was asking the same questions. But at some point, I realized that teams had difficulties to answer these questions, and they were pretty much stuck in their heads. I decided to work on a different tool, and I love games, so I decided to try something with cards, and I did a few trials, and that's the final version.
Alain, I have to say, because, you know, my whole childhood was about playing cards, you know, the card games with your friends and Snap and all that kind of thing. So it does take you into sort of like a playful, childlike thing, but it also makes it like seriously, you know, you feel responsible, because I remember playing those games quite seriously. So that's playfulness and the serious intention behind it.
We try to use these tools as lightly as possible, and in a way everyone loves to play.
Yeah. So what was your first experience of trailing the game, like when you tried it out for the first time?
Well, to tell you the truth, the first version was much bigger than that. In that version you have 90 cards. Questions and intentions. I couldn't decide which intentions were more important than others. I decided to put them all in the first version, and obviously it was too much. Teams had difficulty. I had a difficulty to choose. It would take too much time, so I decided to, well, go over the cards again and pick only 70. But the first trials were really interesting, because the reaction I got from the teams were excellent. Usually you ask questions around designing the alliance, and they're all sitting down, they're all around a table or in circle. So the process is a bit different. But as soon as you got the cards, as soon as you show them the table with the cards, they're all standing up and go towards the cards. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's almost like giving them permission to move and permission to have a chatter and select between them, because you've just asked them a question. It's almost like giving them the responsibility to go out and find what they're looking for, not just from their head, but actually from a movement and thinking. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I was surprised myself.
Were you?
By that reaction.
Oh, really? And is it lots of talks and chitter chatter, or is it every team is a bit different?
Every team is a bit different. You have serious teams, and they go straight to the point. They do exactly what you told them to do. Or you have different teams. They need to chat. They need to exchange. They need to share stories. They need to discuss why this intention and not the other. It's different.
Sounds like a process for them as well to decide. Absolutely. Yeah, that's really a lot of information for coaches as well, because you get to feel the culture of the team. Who would you recommend the game for?
I would recommend it for every ORSC trained coaches. They know the tool. They know the process. I'm sure they use it all the time with their clients. It's the one tool you learn in every ORSC module. You go on a course, you always start with the DTA, and you always revisit the DTA every day. Every ORSC trained coach know that tool and know that process. I would recommend, first of all, all these coaches get a set of cards.
Yeah. I must say, I'm really excited to try it out, because I love games, and I like you. And I also am quite a serious person. It's almost like giving me as a coach permission to bring some lightness and fun into my work. Okay, thank you very much. So I just want to let everybody know where you can buy it. It's on the website, isn't it, for CRR Global website. Alain and I will be running a webinar. I think it's the 22nd of April, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yep. And so we look forward to for you to come and enjoy it with us. So thank you very much. And
thank you, Nairy.
Okay.